The title sounds very abstract and voodoo, but it is possible. You can literally manipulate yourself into believing that a specific set of sequences happened and therefore it happened. Now, I'm going to say one thing. If you are someone who struggles with your emotions and handling your emotions in specific moments, then this video is for you. If you are someone who is sensitive or has to deal with a lot of social pressure at work, online, if you are someone who deals with binge eating, if you are someone who deals with any form of addiction, anything where emotion is involved, you can use neuroplasticity to help create the future that you desire. Before you do this, you need to be very sure on what future you desire. Now, I'm not talking about the outcome of that future. I'm talking about the little habits that you do in your day-to-day ideal life that make that outcome possible. It's like saying, I want to become a millionaire. Anyone can say, I want to become a millionaire. Anyone can picture themselves in a nice big house with the types of flowers that they like and the types of bags that they have and whatever. Like, anyone can picture the outcome, but what are you doing on a day-to-day basis in that scenario? That is what you should be imagining. What time are you waking up? What are you doing first thing in the morning? Why and how do you even have that house? If you are into business, let's say your business becomes so successful, but even the most successful businessmen still deal with stress and pressure on a day-to-day basis. Their life is not all sunshine and rainbows. No one's desired reality is actually sunshine and rainbows. There are always going to be problems, but the point that I'm trying to get across is that you can choose the types of problems that you want. So I don't want you to just envision the positive outcome. I want you to envision the day-to-day problems that you want in your life. Because there are always going to be problems, but what problems are you going to choose? So next time that you need a moment, let's say someone's rude to you at work and they say something rude and you are ashamed, you don't know how to react, you say something out of spite, and then you come home and you're embarrassed. Let's say this happened in real life. How are you going to rewire those neural circuits in your brain to make yourself believe that that didn't happen? You're going to tell yourself that did happen, because the brain can still make up what's real and fake, but you're going to change the way that you responded in that problem. You're going to tell yourself, I didn't say that out of spite. I was calm, collected. I asked them a question back that made them realize how bad the thing that they said was, and they're going to realize that they don't mess with me, and I'm going to walk away feeling proud. That is the scenario that I want you to imagine. You want to write this down. You want to say these affirmations to yourself. You want to do something to imprint this into your brain. So much so, say it over and over and over again until you fully believe that that is what happened. Not that that didn't happen in the first place, but your reaction changed. Let's say you struggle with binge eating and there was a social situation where you lost control a bit. Don't say that you lost control. Say that the social situation happened. That was the same specific party or gathering. But the way that you approached food, the way that you were present in your body, the way that you realized that you were full and didn't want to continue, change that. Tell yourself over and over and over again after the event has happened that that is how it went down. This isn't going to suddenly change the past. It's not going to cause the past to have not happened, but it's going to open up the possibility to your nervous system that that is an option that you can actually respond with. Before, it didn't even think that that was an option. If you envision this, especially with envisioning the specific sensations that your body is feeling, for example, I could truly feel how satiated I felt in that moment and I knew that it was time to stop. Or I could truly feel how my chest opened up so proudly when I told them that I'm not interested in this conversation further when they were rude to me at work. When you use your bodily sensations in that scenario, when you're trying to rewire, it becomes more effective and it really does cause a physiological response in your body, in your nervous system, in your brain. It rewires and repatterns those circuits that were supposed to be originally embarrassment, shame, guilt, you stop feeding those neural circuits and you start feeding the circuits that are bettering you towards a better life. The next time that something like this happens, your body is going to be more familiar with the idea that maybe I can react in a more calm, collected way. Maybe I can not overeat. Maybe I can allow myself to stop, because I know that there is always an excess of food wherever, and I don't have to feel like I have to gobble it all up in this one go. When you tell your body that it is okay to act in this way, when you tell your brain that it is safe to act in this way, your brain will choose that path, because your brain chooses what is familiar, not what is good or bad. It doesn't know what is good or bad. It only knows what is familiar. It only knows the habits that you have been repeating quietly for years and decades. And if you can change those habits quietly, if you can change those habits slowly, then over time it will compound to your best life. It will compound and you won't even realize how you got there. A fix does not get fixed like that overnight. It gets fixed in these small moments. Before you go to work every day, tell yourself that I respond like this. I do this. When something like this happens, I do this. After the event at work happens, go back and do the post rewiring. Do you see what I'm getting at? You have to do the pre-rewiring and the post-rewiring. What happens in the middle is more spontaneous. You're not always in your head, okay? So you can't always change that. But if your brain is at least more familiar with the pre and the post, it is more likely to better the actual event itself. This goes for anything in life. If you do this repeatedly and make it a habit, then your neural circuits will change. If you do not do this, then your brain will mold and form into the way that it was naturally supposed to, in the way that you were naturally risen or grown up. When you grow up, you can't control your conditions. You can't control who your mother is. You can't control who your father is. You can't control the friends that you had at school, but they all shape your brain. Are you gonna let your maybe unlucky conditioning shape your brain at the end, as the end result, or are you going to actively put in those neural circuits, those pre and those post affirmations, and tell yourself who you are? The choice is yours.